What's good, hip hop? What's good? What's good? This is Rob D in the place to be, aka Rob Diggy, doing a probably what I would say the most anticipated episode of the season. We are doing and showcasing Tupac Shakur, the late great Tupac. And this is just taking me on a whirlwind ride. Lots of great news that we got this week, man. And it's the holiday season, so you see my Santa hat on. So I'm ready for the holidays. I know you guys are too. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to all of our fans, followers, and listeners out there. And one of the things we're going to start doing is, continue to support the Diggie XIII website. So go out there to www.diggie82.com. And what I'm going to do is if you tag us with the hashtag DBENTCO, I will shout you out in future videos. So you all can do that, have a little fun with it, and send us some messages, and I will be sure to shout you guys out for our loyal fans and followers. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. But so with that in mind, it's a special episode, as I mentioned. The late great Tupac, one of the most beloved hip-hop artists of our generation, is Tupac, and I have a very special guest that's going to come hang out with me today. He goes by the name of Deion Brown. I call him aka the White Suge Knight. You might have seen Deion a couple episodes ago when I did DBENTCO, the showcase for him and his entire management crew. He was on the first episode of that, so you all may remember him from there, but I'm bringing him back for him to help me show and pay homage to the late great Tupac Shakur. So I'm gonna bring Deion in. And Deion, what is happening, my brother? How are you? And talk to the people, man. What's going on, bro?
Hey, man. I appreciate you having me on this platform, man, giving me the opportunity to pay respect to Tupac and help spread a little bit of the DB entertainment joy to the people here before the holidays get in, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, man, no doubt. This is like our fourth collaboration, man. So no, I appreciate you, man. Like, your artists are incredible. You have a great eye for talent, and you have a great mind for management. A lot of your hustle I'm getting from you, man. So you are my inspiration a little bit in this game. So I thank you for that, man, and thank you for coming on board with us and taking our fans on a journey about Tupac Shakur, you guys. So let me run down a little bit of Tupac's accolades real quick, because he has a lot of accolades that some people may not know about. So his full government name was Tupac Amaru Shakur. Born 16 June 1971, the day he passed was September 13th of 1996. The man was only 25 years old when he passed away. He was inducted into the Hip Hop Hall of Fame in 2012. He was a first ballot Rock and Roll Hall of Famer in 2017. Let me say that again. A first ballot Hall of Famer to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That is really, really hard to do, you all. So I want to pay him homage for that. They gave him the Hip Hop Honors in 2004. He has won American Music Award, and he is another artist. This is the third week in a row when I've had a superstar hip hop artist that does not have a Grammy Award. Tupac was nominated for 6 Grammys and does not have one. How is that possible? How is it that Snoop Dogg, Nas, and Tupac do not have Grammys? We got to do better than that, you guys. That is insane to me. He also has, however, he does have 2 Soul Train Awards in his trophy case, and the period that we're already talking about Tupac was mainly when he was alive, when he was thriving in the early 90s in the period of the shift. So we dropped 3 albums during this time period. I'm gonna slide one in because one of them is my favorites. He dropped Tupacalypse Now in November of 1991. So those of you that remember some of those songs off of there, it was Trapped, Violent. I love Words of Wisdoms. I know me and Don have probably a conversation about Words of Wisdom. I love the way that he just talked to the people. He didn't rap. He just talked to the people on Words of Wisdom. He has another one, If My Homies Call, one of my favorites. Brenda's Got a Baby is on there. And then Part-Time Mother, which is a flip on Stevie Wonder's song, Part-Time Lover. So I love that that originality, you know what I'm saying, that creativity that Pac had early on. And then in February '93, he dropped Strictly For My Niggas a couple years later, which had Holla If You Hear Me, I Get Around, Keep Your Head Up, Last Words, which was a collaboration with Ice-T and Ice Cube. So one of the few rappers that have a collaboration with Ice-T and Ice Cube on the same track. And he also has another one I like on there called Guess Who's Back. I like that track too. And then the other one, but he made a couple other hits in between that time. So one of them is Pour Out a Little Liquor. I like that song. He had Gotta Get Mine with MC Breed. Shout out to the late, great MC Breed, who also passed away in 2008. And My Block, which was a song he had on the show soundtrack back in 1995. And I'm going to slide in, Deion. I'm going to slide in Me Against the World on this episode, because Me Against the World, in my opinion, is Tupac's greatest album. That is his magnum opus. That is his most inspirational album. And I got to slide it in, even though it's a little bit outside of the period of the shift. I'm going to slide it in because of its significance to hip-hop. It was released in March of 1995. It is a 5-mic album. Tupac has 2 5-mic albums from the source. This is one of them. The other one is the double CD. What was that called again, Deion? All Eyes on Me. All Eyes on Me. Yeah, sorry about that. I had a brain lapse. But off of Me Against the World, triple platinum album. Strictly For My Niggas is a platinum album. Tupac now was a gold album, and some of the songs off of Me Against the World were, So Many Tears, my favorite Tupac song, Temptations, Lord Knows, and Dear Mama is on there. And Dear Mama is one of the 10 pieces of hip-hop history that is in the Library of Congress. So they enshrined that song in the Library of Congress. Only 10 pieces of hip-hop that is in the Library of Congress, and that was just one of the pieces. Dear Mama is number 8 on the Source magazine's top songs of all time, number 8. So we're paying homage for that as well. He has another song on there called Old School, where he's giving a throwback to the old greats. And another one that I want to mention is Death Around the Corner. And I'm mentioning Death Around the Corner because that is a song that my wife, the Queen Diggie, Jessica, can recite from front to end. Like, it's crazy. Like, she can recite that song from the end. I was like, how the hell do you even know this? Like, how is that possible? So it was bugged, man. But that is all.
Comes out of the car, man. She gets going, right?
Yeah, man. Like, I was like, so I played the song this week, and she like knows the song from front. I was like, how in the hell do you even know about this? Like, it's just amazing, man. But shout out to the Queen Diggy. Shout out to Jess, and Tupac did a lot of things for hip hop. He did movies, he did Juice, he did Poetic Justice. Shout out to Poetic Justice, another John Singleton movie. He saw a lot of talent in Tupac, co-starring with Janet Jackson. He did Above the Rim, he did Gridlocked, he did Gang Related. Like, Tupac has done so much for the culture of hip hop. And I'll be on the record right now and say that Tupac is the most influential rapper in the history of hip hop, of this generation, period, when it comes to rappers. The most influential. I don't know any other. You got people that know Tupac that are 4 years old, 5 years old, to guys that are 66 years old. Everybody knows that name, Tupac Shakur. His significance to the culture is unmatched. And that is why I think this was the most anticipated episode in this season, because everybody I know loves Tupac. So let's jump into our discussion, Deion. So first off, Deion, before we get started, man, I want you to introduce yourself once again to the audience and tell us a little bit of how and why you fell in love with hip hop.
Cool, man. That's a deep one, right? Because hip hop is so meaningful, man. It goes so much deeper than just the boom bap bass and the punchline lyrics, things like that, man. Hip hop is so deep rooted in so much of what we do. So to really know when I fell in love with it is hard because it's been around a lot of my life since I was young. Some of my earliest albums that I picked up on were like Biggie's Ready to Die was one of the, and it's funny, because like you were just saying, Jess can recite some of these songs that, you put them on and you're like, damn, how'd you know that? I do the same shit, man. I'll get in the car and I'll put on Ready to Die, and that's a cover-to-cover classic to me. So any song from Ready to Die, man, I can impress my wife with a few of them. I can bust up on Biggie.
That's what's up.
Yeah, man. For me, I got started in working in hip hop with Mac Xavier, and he's another one of those lyricists that I would hopefully compare to Tupac soon. With the way that he carefully constructs his messages and his songs, similar to the way that Tupac does.
Yeah.
Where he's not really talking about his flash and his style and his whatnot. He's very careful, and he appreciates the craft and the art that he's putting out there. He's got a real deep love for hip hop, and that really attracted me to the game more than a lot of other things did, man. So shout out to Mac Xavier for sure. He's really what helped me fall in love with hip hop. I was a fan of the music for sure, but he helped me fall in love with it.
Yeah, it's a difference. And I talked about this last week. So shout out to K Simone, who was on with us last week talking about Nas. And I think that there's differences between people that listen to hip hop and people that hear hip hop. There's a difference. And I consider Mac Xavier and your entire crew listeners of hip hop, of how things are crafted, how they're put together, how words and syllables and how you can put, things here and there, like people that actually study the craft. So there's a difference. And, when you listen to Tupac, you hear a lot of pain, you hear a lot of strife, you hear a lot of anger, you hear a lot of different sides of Pac, and he had so many different sides. So that's going to bring me to my first question for you, Deion, about Tupac. So in one word, what would you describe Tupac? One word. How would you describe Tupac in one word?
Well, that's a good one, man. I'm gonna say resilient. Resilient is the word I'm gonna use for Tupac, because he came up at a time when there was so much adversity, and even stuff that he put himself into, like his trouble with the law and things like that, but he never really let that hold him down. He was still able to put out music while in prison. He was still able to top charts. He was still able to have accolades of accomplishments, and he was able to pull in people. Like you said, he's one of the most influential artists to come out of the hip hop at all. So for him to be able to do those things while facing so much adversity, man, I think resilient would be the word I use for
Yeah.
Tupac, for sure.
I would definitely agree, and the word I would choose is rebel. And because Tupac, his mom was a Black Panther, so shout out to Afeni Shakur, who also passed away a few years back. And I hear Pac's music, and I think of a man that is being broken and that is against the system. But the other thing that's crazy about Pac, and I talked to this about a lot of people, Deion, is there were so many sides of Pac. Like you had the political Pac, you had the friendly joking around Pac, you had the intellectual Pac. Like there were so many different sides of Tupac. So he was kind of one of those artists that was hard to put him into a box. Like there was like nothing like, you could say that, Pac is this, or, Pac is from the East Coast, or Pac is from, so if y'all didn't know, Pac was born in Manhattan, but then he moved out to LA back in 1988. So, I mean, ideally, he has a West Coast kind of feel to it. We got a lot of love from the West Coast. He gets love from both coasts, but he was born in Manhattan, New York. Then he moved out to the West Coast and, got his influence and started hanging around, and he got his first song actually was with Digital Underground with the same song way back in the day. If anybody remembers that video, Humpty and Digital Underground, and, Shock G was one of his mentors and who adored Tupac and still does to this day. And that's where Pac got to start. They say, yo, Pac, let me throw you on this track, man. Let me see what you got. You know what I'm saying? And he rocked it. And then he did it. And then he did Juice. And I talk about Juice in this whole season because Juice was one of my favorite movies, period. Not even talking about Tupac, just movies, period. Tupac is in it. And if you guys were to watch Pac's performance in Juice, like, you're like, oh shit, man, like he really is Bishop. Like he makes you really believe like he is Bishop in the movie. Like he sells that part so good, man. Like, and he's just had incredible talent. So, which brings me to my next question, Deion, is when it comes to Tupac and his legacy, what do you think his influence is on the culture itself of hip hop?
Man, that's like you were just saying, he didn't hold himself down to just being a rapper. He was able to put himself out there in some acting gigs like Poetic Justice with Janet Jackson, and really what that to me shows is his ability to touch multiple forms of entertainment in order to build that recognition that he needed, you know, in order to move his music, and in order to have the influence he had, he needed to spread himself, you know. He needed to put himself out there in different ways. And you know, a lot of people really look negatively at some rappers who turn actors. You know, like for example, there's a little bit of backlash that MGK got when he started taking some of these acting roles. You know, because people are like, "Oh, he's falling off as a rapper, and so he's moving to acting." But you know, the opposite effect happened for Tupac, where when he started getting some of these acting gigs, you know, his music sales went up.
Yep.
So it was one of those things where, and I mean, the same is true for MGK. You know, I'm not knocking his path either, but I'm just saying that I think that influence enough is just showing that you have to put yourself out there. You know, you can't be held down by your situation. You know, you can't be held down by your environment. You just got to put yourself out there as many ways as you can in order to be successful. At least that's what I took from watching him put himself into different roles, or try to, you know, get himself the opportunities that he needed to be successful.
Yeah, I agree. There's definitely different ways, or, you know, the old saying is there's different ways to skin a cat. And I think that Pac figured it out early. Pac knew that he had a talent, and he knew he could, he was a poet, kind of essentially. He started out like as a poet, started putting rhymes together. But that's going to bring me to my next point. So when he did Tupacalypse Now, he was talking about activism and getting everybody together as, you know, as unity with black people, and talking about the black man's strife. And when my homies call, you know, if you need me, I'm there for you. You know what I mean? Like, he was there on that kind of tip. And Brenda's Got a Baby was on there, which was an excellent album that we needed to hear. And nobody really talked about Brenda's Got a Baby during that time, Deion. You know what I mean? Like, nobody really talked about, you know, underage women having young babies and being too young to be able to take care of them. Like, nobody was talking about those kinds of topics in 1991, man. Like, no one was talking about these things. And Pac brought it to light. And he brought it clever, and then he graduated from that to Strictly For My Niggas, which I actually, ironically, I sorry for this, fans, but that's probably one of my least favorite Tupac albums, because I don't think he actually, and then to go along with that, it's one of my least favorite because he started to get more stardom, and sometimes when you start to get more stardom, you kind of lose sight of what's important. And I think on that one, you know, he got a couple of tracks I think that are good, and then, you know, to your point, he went to jail. He got some legal troubles, and he went to jail for a little bit. And then, you know, he started writing rhymes in jail. And that is why I consider, you know, his album, Me Against the World, his best piece of art, because he was in jail. He's got nobody else. It's just him and his words and his thoughts. And he did a masterful album, a 5-mic album. My favorite album that Tupac has is Me Against the World. So I wanted to get your opinion about that, Deion. So when we talk about Me Against the World, there are so many introspective songs that are on there. Dear Mama is on there, you know, paying homage to young moms that you know, that are playing both roles of mommy and daddy, which, you know, I know me, you can both, you know, have some buddies that grew up that didn't have a father at home, you know what I'm saying? And mom had to play both sides. And it's such an introspective album. So I think it is his best work to date, is Me Against the World. So what is your opinion about the album, and what's your favorite song off the album?
Oh, man, off of Me Against the World, my favorite song is either, yeah, man, I'm going to have to go with Dear Mama, honestly, because I love my mom, right? I do. I love my mom a lot. She had to go through a lot, you know, while I was growing up and stuff, and it ain't been an easy road for her. So, you know, the plan is to show her that she is appreciated. So there it is, man. Shout out to my mom. Yeah, that song really moved me, man. And, you know, for Pac to show sensitivity at a time like that, too, you know, when he's supposed to be, you know, like you said, that was a time when he was in jail. You know, he had just gotten shot 5 times and survived. That was when the Biggie and Tupac rivalry was really starting to get big. So for him to release any kind of, you know, sensitive music or something that was more on his heart when, you know, really people were out there trying to attack him, that showed a little bit of vulnerability for Tupac that I think a lot of people needed then and can relate to now, even, you know, like myself.
Yeah, I agree, man. Shout out to all the moms that are single moms that are handling their business. I was fortunate enough to have both my parents in the house when I was growing up, so I can't relate to that. But I know one thing, that my mom Shout out to you, mom. I love you to death. My mom watches every week. She critiques my shows every week too. So I have like be on my P's and Q's, you know what I mean? But my mom taught me music. My mom taught me the gift of music, and we came from a not really a musical family, but everybody in my family on that side of the fence loved music, and my dad was into hip hop. So I got the best of both worlds, you know, when it came to like loving and enjoying music. And I got sports from my dad, and I got music from my mom, and it's like that whole you know, those two worlds colliding is what created me, what you're looking at now. But I agree. I love Dear Mama, and I love So Many Tears because he just has so many things that he's talking about, and he's you know, Pac was paranoid. He just got shot 5 times and he's paranoid. He's like got his head on the swivel, and he's like, I don't know who to trust. I can't trust my girl. I can't trust my homies. I can't trust anybody. And it's like, you know, he was going through so many things during that time. And then, you know, as the story goes, you know, Suge Knight, you know, put up the bail for him. He got out of jail. He made All Eyes on Me, which made him a superstar. And unfortunately, you know, on September 13th of 1996, Tupac was taken from this world at 25 years old, you guys. He was only 25 years old. And it just makes you think of how precious life is. And he was not even in the prime of his life. Like, he was like right on the edge of stardom. He was already a star. He was like superstardom, what I would say. And he was gone too soon. And so it really, really hurts, man. And one of the things that I wanted to bring up about Tupac, and I got one more question for you, Deion, then we'll start to wrap things up, is on Tupacalypse Now. If you go back and listen to his song called Words of Wisdom, Words of Wisdom was really not really a song, but he was kind of like talking to you, like, you know what I mean? Like he was like having a conversation with the listener. And one of the things that the way I even open up this episode with is he broke down his definition of the word nigga, Nigga, and it wasn't like a derogatory term or anything, but he said that it stood for never ignorant, getting goals accomplished. That's what he said that nigga stood for. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't nothing negative or nothing like that. He was talking to, he's like, I'm talking to my brothers, I'm talking to my sisters, I'm talking to my niggas. And like, I'm not saying niggas in a derogatory way. I'm talking about, you know, never ignorant, getting goals accomplished. I'm talking to you guys that are hungry, that are out there. And I was like, yo, like, no one ever, I don't even think any of my listeners even know that Pac even said that about that word, you know, and it's looked at as such a negative word, but we use it as we as in black people, what I'm saying, you know, use it as a term of endearment, but Pac used it as a term of uplifting. Like, who thought of that, man? Like, who would thought about that, you know, during those times? So I need you all to go back. If you're a fan of hip hop, go back and listen to Tupac Now, go back and listen to Words of Wisdom. Tupac was ahead of his time. Said Deion, we're gonna wrap things up, man. It is Christmas week, so shout out to you and your family. Happy holidays to you. Happy holidays to all of our fans and followers, supporters. I got my Santa hat on, you know, and it's been a great ride. It's been 2020, what a year, man. But it's time to celebrate, and I'm gonna give in Diggy A2 fashion. We do shout outs every single week. And I don't think you have a hoodie on, Deion, but that's okay. I'm gonna let you. Oh, you do? All right, that's what's up. I'm gonna put mine on as well. So throughout the season, you guys, we've been doing a hooded salute for Trayvon Martin, keeping his memory alive for the past 13 episodes. So thank you to all of my guests that have come on previously and showing homage to one of our fallen for social justice. So during the shout out portion, we're paying homage to Trayvon Martin, all the other ones that we have lost due to social injustice. So with that in mind, Deion, who are your shout outs going to this week, my good sir?
Man, I got so many people I could shout out, right? But first off, shout out to my team, man, DB Entertainment, for everybody who's rocked with us for as long as we've been around so far. We got big things happening right here on Diggy A2. We're doing our own little spin-off series for the journey. But yeah, shout out to the whole team, man. You guys are the reason I'm here today doing what I do. So if it weren't for you guys, man, there would be nothing. So shout out to DB Entertainment. Shout out to my wife, my daughter. You know, like you said, it's Christmas. So I got a 3-year-old at home that's getting real excited for Santa. So shout out to my daughter. Man, shout out to Tupac for giving us, you know, so much to think about, man. Like he's really put so much out there for us to learn from, to experience through him, things that I'll never be able to understand or experience. He put into words for me and gave me an ability to have some insight into his life and the culture of hip hop. You know, man, shout out to you and Jess. Shout out to everything that y'all do, man. You guys are seriously top of the line people. This platform has been used for good and not evil, man. And I'm so thankful that you brought me out here and allowed me to be a part of it. Yeah, man. Shout out to hip hop. You know, I can go on for days with the love, man. I love it, man. I love everybody who's ever been a part of this thing, man. If you guys have ever met me doing this music stuff, you know that my heart is huge for you. I want to see everybody succeed, man. So just shout out to anybody who's ever shown love to me or my people, man.
Yeah, man, no doubt. Much love, Deion, and you know, Deion, you're one of my favorite people, man, that I've gone through in this journey as a podcaster. And I remember when you came to the house, we sat down at the table, we were just going through ideas, and we had that idea about the showcase like long before that, man. We were like, yo, we want to collaborate, and we've been doing collaborations ever since then, man. So thank you, my brother, for showing me and Jessica love, you know what I mean, and being genuine and being who you are. So shout out to you, man. Shout out to all the guys that are on DB Entertainment. I can't wait to get to know all the rest of you guys. Shout out to my family. It's Christmas time, so Merry Christmas to everybody, all the listeners, followers, supporters. And I want to give a quick shout out to my boy Doc. Doc Gooding out of Atlanta, Georgia, my hometown. I had a conversation with him today. And Doc, if you ever see this or listen to this, man, like, you gave me some good words of wisdom that I needed to hear. So I thank you for that, my brother. So thank you for that. And much love to you and your family, your success. And as Doc is my second oldest friend on the entire planet. I've known that cat since the 5th grade, man. So we go way back. And so, yeah, we be able to chop it up today, man. And I want to leave this episode about Tupac with one of my favorite verses. So I'm not much of a rapper, but I gotta leave it with a verse, man, because people don't understand the genius of Tupac. People don't understand his significance to the culture. And I don't think I would do him any justice if I didn't leave or end the show with a verse from Pac. So this is from his collaboration with MC Breed, a song called Gotta Get Mine. Shout out to Matt, my brother Matt. That's me and his favorite song. And he just destroys this verse. And I'm going to recite it for you guys real quick. So the way it goes is, I got my mind on my money, money on my mind. Finger on the trigger, nigga, hand on my nine, smoking blunts of skunk, putting holes in punk and making underground funk, pumping out of my trunk. Live the life of a hustler, I till I die, getting bitches, getting riches, miss me alive, picture me living out my life as a buster. I'd rather bust off my shots from my Glock and blast motherfuckers. I live a thug life, baby, I'm hopeless, choking off endo, trying to keep my focus. Don't let this bullshit worry me. Fuck the fame, I'm true to the game, till they bury me. God gave me game, so I'm hustling. Pour out some liquor for my niggas. Tupac is still struggling. My homie Breed knew the time where this rhyme a crime. I gotta get mine. Shout out to Tupac. Rest in peace, Tupac. And we're gonna end this note this week, you guys, on a moment of silence for Tupac as well. Shout out to you guys. We'll see you guys next week. All right, 100. Peace.